Hello, hello, hello. We're getting started right now. 1 second. Good to see you, Kieran. Let me just set up my headphones, because usually when I'm streaming with the camera, I like using the smaller headphones. So the stand should be coming in Wednesday. So sweet. We should be ready to have the old camera angle back. Alright, this sounds like doo-doo. Hope you're doing well today, Kieran. Hope all is well. Yikes. That audio quality is not great. Not gonna lie. At least the audio quality for my headphones, but it is what it is. Anyways, so as you can see, we revived StreamWorld. It's coming back. I mean, it's not really interactable right now. We had to disable a bunch of things because a lot of the things I did for StreamWorld relied upon Win API things, and the way Windows libraries and DLLs for painting and getting screen pixels from window, which is not a thing that's applicable in Linux. So yeah, right now we only have the loading screen that changes with time of day, which is pretty cool. But yeah, I'm gonna have to figure out what I'm gonna do. Either try using Restream's APIs to get the dynamic stuff going and have chat pop up in here as it used to, or maybe using YouTube specific APIs. But I don't know, I'm gonna have to check to see how strong their APIs are. How's things on my end? Good. Rested a bit, and yeah, very busy day today with fam and stuff, and you know, and work and whatnot. But hey, we have another day to get some work done, dude. It's 9:32. I'm gonna be out here for a few hours, and hopefully we can be a little productive and get some things done. And yeah, just kind of go from there. What do I have in mind for today? But yeah, there's things to do. There's things to get done today. We're gonna try to be productive on getting this game done, dude. I think some of the major things I want to work on is getting the faucets for the economy working. So having some means of having currency and getting currency, and maybe implementing a general pickup system. That's gonna be good. There's the UI we need to do. I still haven't thought about it, but we'll cross that bridge when we get there. We'll burn that bridge when we get there. You know, thank you, Anu. I appreciate it, man. Anyways, but yeah, if nothing else, I think we're just gonna start working. I'm gonna close. This is StreamWorld stuff. Still need to pour a lot of the functionality, but we'll calm down. We're gonna get there little by little. Just stop hassling, man. We're gonna make StreamWorld happen. It's gonna happen, but not right now. There's gonna be a lot of changes to do. I'm still thinking about maybe even just writing it like in my own engine. Like, I think it wouldn't be that crazy. We already have it. It would be super simple to do some StreamWorld stuff there. Though I want to get rid of this background sound that StreamWorld's producing, so we're gonna close that. Is that not from StreamWorld? Oh, that's just from the free campfire. Never mind. I thought it was from StreamWorld. GG. Anyways, so let's open up Fight and Flight and pick up where we last left off. It's cool seeing. You know, I thought this monitor is more messed up because I accidentally put a magnet on top of it, but it's actually not. It's actually pretty. It looks pretty good. So we have the shop that we're starting to build out, and we have the level. Today I'm kind of thinking about maybe doing some more level-oriented stuff because I really don't want to deal with the UI right now. I'm really not in the mood for UI. Also, there's an issue with load is not allowed for mono behavior constructors. So I'm assuming I have a mono behavior that has a constructor that shouldn't have a constructor. Honestly, I almost feel inclined to start doing some aesthetic stuff today. Like actually just do some animations and not just code. I almost feel inclined to do that. But alas, I want to get more things done. I want to be more productive. We need to get some more mechanics going on. So we're going to just make the basic pickup system today. That's going to be the plan. And then from the pickups, we can have things like coins, quote coins. Maybe we'll make it some kind of other currency or something else. But for right now, we're just going to effectively call them coins. I'm also thinking about having health boosts as well as break boosts. I think those are going to be kind of the three main things you're going to be looking to get on your track, so each with different varying levels of rarity. So I think that's gonna be the plan. Buckle springs, I really want to do. The thing is, like with the buckle springs, it's tragic because when I want to go to do this, I was even thinking about it today because I have it right there. It's just that it's a pain to draw on my tablet when I have the buckle springs. And I find myself kind of going here quite frequently to consult or draw things. Which, by the way, I'm actually I almost want to make this, I'm not sure if I'm going to make it for you guys. It might be just for me. But I kind of like the idea of making this a poster once the game is done. Like having all these sketches from the very day one to completion. And having it be in like in a poster or something. Like, it'd be cool to have that on a wall, and then every single game I start having one large scratch sheet that I never stop working on. Just so I can just forever have this history of work and that went down. Vertical stream writing, waiting. Oh yeah, vertical stream. I was gonna do that today, the multi-stream thing, but honestly, it's like it's gonna be too much. I don't want to test that yet. I was testing the cozy, some other things, and I just want to do one thing at a time. I want to do I'm doing 6,000 kilobits per second right now, and if I do 2 streams at once, it's gonna be like double, or either I do halvesies, 3,000 each, or I just increase my general upload bandwidth. But I just want to kind of test to see how I do with like 5,000 or something, and if that's pretty stable, we'll go up from there. Weak magnets won't damage them. That's good to know. Yeah, because it was weird because it was warped for a long time, and it's still a little warped. Like they're supposed to be. This is like slightly bent up, but it's actually not that bad. I used to use Restream Kieran, but I kind of switched off of it just because it was kind of a pain. Because I'd have to open up Restream, but then I'd still have to go to YouTube to specify that this is not a kid stream. This is an adult. I mean, that sounds weird, but it's like a stream meant for people, for adults, not little people. And that's the other thing is I didn't want to do I was going to do the double stream, but then I don't know. It feels like it'll be so much to manage because then I have to have 2 different chats, and I already have not the most amount of real estate in a weird way. I don't want to stress out about this, so I was gonna be like, all right, we're gonna keep it simple. What's up, Draco? Our beloved Draco. One second, I'm trying to fix my so it doesn't go down. Also, by the way, we have some changes to the Discord before we get into actual any form of deving. So if you were to look, 1 second, it is loading. But yeah, we have a change to the gym leader system. So I remember last time we talked about having a directory. So now we actually have a proper gym leader directory. So you can just go based off topic and then find someone who's appropriate. So that's good. And then we have 2 new people added. We have Rook 89, and we also got 64-bit. By the way, guys, if you want to get some deep knowledge about graphics and all that kind of stuff, he is your man. If you want to learn the deep stuff and the cool stuff, He's the guy. He's the guy. I'm not gonna dive more into it, but I'm just saying. Wizardry. Big knowledge. Oh yeah, I'll get you added, Rook. You said you want it to be for Warframe and Unity as well. So, more Unity people. Oh yeah, you're already on there. So I'll just add you to Warframe then. Warframe. There you go. Okay. So this has been fulfilled. I'm gonna start deleting. I'm gonna delete this just so it's very clean. That way it's just this. And then anything else that needs to be changed could be done in the gym leader application, which is the second change, is that we now have this pinned gym leader application. So if you want to be a gym leader, feel free to just message in there at me if you need be, because I might forget to check regularly, and I can get you added as a gym leader. Yeah, I need to go through here and delete this, but I'll do that later. So cool, resources. Yeah, for real. Drusha Luna. Drusha Luna's here? Yeah, that's a really cool name. What is going on? Gorge Knight or Commando Elite? I have no idea. I'm still a newbie at Warframe. I'm day 4. I'm on day 4 of Warframe. So, still a big newbie. Still a big newbie. Which, by the way, did I end up changing the stream category? Yeah, it's in Stream Science and Technology. But yeah, I'm loving it though. I think it's really cool. But I don't know, these past weeks, doing this whole game in a week or 3 weeks thing is kind of taking up a lot of my time. But I'm excited to at least get this done eventually and have the luxury of being able to play games and not code as much and all that. I mean, I'm still probably going to code, but on simple, small things. Maybe not simple, small things. I'll just go back and resume my old projects. Anyways, I need to. We're adding some miscellaneous things here, and I'm not sure how I want to organize it yet. Pickups. So we have this. So we're gonna make an idea of a pickup, and it's gonna do something on. It's gonna do something on collision with the player. Maybe you want to make it more. Maybe you want to make it more flexible so that. Also, is my audio not? I feel like my audio is not balanced. I'm not sure. Also, what's up, Garamon Wavy12? Glad to have you. Glad to have you in the Discord. Also, let me meet some stuff here. 1 second. One second. Here we go. Okay, sweet. So we have this pickup. I think we're gonna do some basic inheritance because, like, it's not the end of the world, right? I think we're gonna have something very simple where we have, like, there's some things we for sure are gonna want to have. So we're gonna have to have AI trigger collider, not trigger collider, but a trigger collider event that's gonna be listening for things. And then maybe you might have like a target specified here, like, hey, are you listening for the player, or are you listening for enemies, or whatever it is, to do some kind of action. So I might make something simple like an enum. In fact, we have our tags class, right? Yeah, and we have these static names here. I almost feel inclined to do like an enum with the same names. Enum. That would be easier to set it in Inspector, and then, you know, it'll do whatever the thing is. And there'll be something as simple as just player, maybe hazards if you want to listen to that. And then, I don't know, enemies, let's say. Or I guess I'll be in the same tier as hazards. I don't know, we'll make it as simple as we can for right now. Either way, we have these, and when we do toString, these values should just be what these are. So this should just match this, though this should be that, okay? And then from here, game tags, target colliders. So this is gonna be what we're gonna be listening for. And then on, let's say start, or maybe even better on awake. In this scenario, I don't think it matters too much. We're gonna do, first we wanna get the collider. I'm assuming it's gonna be tied to the parent. So I'm gonna do get component, or maybe if you wanna be even more bold and authoritative, we can say, hey, we're actually gonna add this component on because we know for a fact this should exist. But it's gonna exist at some level. And then we're gonna do on trigger entered subject, where x dot compare tags is our target. To string subscribe. I don't even think, I think this is gonna be as simple, I don't even have to do this. I might, because I think pickups are always gonna be universally a player thing. Unless I wanna try to extrapolate this to be like, hey, this can do stuff if the enemy picks it up. I don't know, but this is not that crazy to implement. And then from there, we're gonna be having some kind of, and we're probably gonna make this an abstract thing. Or actually, we could just make this a one universal thing and then have the different types of classes of pickups. So it can be, yeah, we can keep it simple. We don't have to complicate it with multiple inheritance. We could just have a simple concrete instance. Pickup type. And then it's gonna be like what? There's gonna be coin, health, breaks. And then we have like static utility functions to do whatever behaviors we want to have there, or just have it be in here. It's simple. Okay, we can have a function here on pickup, and we can do on pickup, and you're going to expect something, right? So what do you expect here? You're gonna expect, is there like an other collider we have to do? Yeah, collider. So you just do collider other in case we need to do something special, but I don't think we're gonna need to. So it's gonna be relatively simple. And then we'll do our switch statement with diverging behavior based on what the pickup was. So in this case, we have our pickup type. We should also probably make a variable here. E and you need to have that prefix, pickup type. And then we go here. We have our different behaviors, and then we're going to do different things. I think it's also worth caching our application. Thank you. Because that's where we're going to do a lot of game changes too. We're not going to be affecting, or maybe we affect a player. I think we might just do message brokers again. Because honestly, that's like it seems like the most straightforward, easy thing to to do, and anyone can listen. Whoever wants to listen to it can listen to it. So I'm actually kind of liking this message broker structure more. So we're just going to do broker. Cool. And here we're going to do broker equals application dot instance, and then message broker. Beautiful. And then what kind of updates are we going to have? We're going to have some kind of, we have a general one for, you know, public struct pickup get, and maybe you can have like these values here, or we can just have like a specific one for each particular type of pickup. So there's like one for coin, break, and then health. And then on these different events, we can just have this broker publish these changes. So in this case, it would emit like an event for a coin, one for health, one for breaks. Did I name this? No, it's just break. Let's change that. And then we can add additional information like, hey, it's like a float for whatever value it is, whether it be the amount of coins it's going to be counting for, or the amount of health it's going to count for, or breaks, or whatever. We can do that separately. And then if we want to have a universal thing, we can have just destroy instance. This, or game object actually, not just the component. So that whatever diverging behaviors happen here, they just happen, and then boom, kill the object. Or if you want to object pool it, we can just restore it, but I don't even care. I don't think this is going to be that big, because all the allocations are going to have to happen up front anyways. All right, let me catch up in chat real quick, guys. Sorry. So JV, we don't talk about AI here. I have a general sentiment about AI, and every single stream it ends up coming up as a topic of conversation. I'm just kind of tired about talking about it. So this is the most I'm going to say on that topic, and we'll just leave it there. Yeah, I'm using Unity stub. Also, good to see you, Master Crafter. So we're making a game. I'll show you guys in a second. Here's the game, and right now we're currently implementing a pickup for it. Last stream we were implementing a lot of the core like data handling stuff for game state and the shop and making a shop view, and it's like pretty much mostly implemented already. I just need to actually create the front end stuff, but honestly, dude, doing UI in Unity just kind of sucks my soul a little bit. But yeah, this is the game we're working on. And right now I'm focused on just getting the full game loop implemented and all the essential things there before we start doing the more pretty things and the things I actually find really fun. But this is like the vegetables. These are the vegetables. We got to get this done early and validate it before we get even further in the process. And there's like a lot of things that are kind of not complex, but like there's a lot of systems that exist here that may not be obvious, like the fact that we have this braking system, and the fact that we have different types of engines you can slot in that have different acceleration profiles and different holes and all this kind of thing, which allows for a lot of customization, which is why we're working on the shop, so we can start validating that. But the shop is a sink that's going to be consuming currency. Right now we want to work on some of the faucets, the things that are going to be generating currency for you. So that's my little excuse to not do the UI implementation right now. Cool, going to school, learning C++. C++ for games is fun. I have a project I was doing in C++, my own game engine project, and I'm gonna get to it eventually. Honestly, I kind of want to rewrite it in C though, because I actually found myself really enjoying working in C much more than C++. If I'm gonna be real with you, but that's a whole separate thing. Yeah, UI Unity is not fun. Anyways, but yeah, so we just implemented this basic pickup system where, hey, we get this object, we do this. And then I almost feel tempted to make it, because Unity has like a prefab thing, but I almost feel tempted to do like a public static create function. Like public static pickups. And then call it create. And you'll pass in things like the E pickup type, and given this type information, it'll just construct the things correctly. You'll probably still have some resource loading, but the caller is not gonna have to worry about this. Is gonna handle the resource loading of prefabs if you so choose to do that. Or alternatively, we can just create like a game object. Game object equals new game object, and we can, I don't know, pickup equals go.add component pickup, and then initialize these values there. Oh my goodness. And then this like type would be equal to, nope, pick up type is going to equal to type, and then it'll do whatever construction like visually that's needed here. So maybe we'll add some like things like a sprite render or mesh or whatever to visually make it distinct. Probably even add things like a add component collider or sphere collider. Yeah, that'd be cool. So we'd have the sphere collider, and we can initialize it with the things we want to, like making it a trigger is true, and probably something else. Maybe even change the collider type of it, so it'd be like, I don't know. And I'm thinking that instead of having this whole target tag type thing, I'm just gonna get rid of this, because ultimately this is all going to be oriented around the player. Maybe you want to make it more reusable later on, but I think for right now we can just simply assume that that we're going to be, this is going to be relevant to the player specifically, and then it wouldn't be hard if we need to extend this out again in the future, but for right now we'll just do simplicity. Cool, so we have this, we have a collider, we have this, we probably move the message broker getting here, and then we're gonna have our differing behavior that happens here, and then maybe want to have some different initializers as well. Like we can, like all these are gonna have some type of value associated with them, and we can assume they're gonna be floats, so we can add this magnitude element to it so that it can be pretty straightforward. I wish there was like macros in C#, because I'm going to do a lot of samey boilerplate stuff. I know in later versions of C# you have records, and you can do this cool syntax where you can like define its constructor and the data that's going to be contained within this. Like you can do like float value, and then that's enough to define both the struct and the constructor. But I think in my version of Unity it doesn't really work. Unless I do something. What's going on here? Predefined type system runtime compiler is external, must be declared or imported in order to declare this. Int only setter. Yeah. Let me see actually. Yeah, it's not like detected here. So either my version of Unity is not cool enough to actually have support for this. My bad, my phone. It's 10 o'clock. But yeah, sadly we don't have this syntax at our disposal, so instead I'm just gonna do the next best thing, which is define the members like this. And just call it a day. Maybe do this so that I can just kind of yoink this, that. Because then what we do with the value is contextual to this type anyway, so the receiver of this event is going to know what to do with this value, what this value represents. So I don't think it's that complex, and then just a matter of initializing this. Though I wish this could do the C type thing of just being like, hey, here's a float, and just live with it. But no, no, it's like, oh, you have to actually set the type equal to this, and I mean, it's not the end of the world, but it just kind of bothers me. But yeah, we have to define some type of value, so I think we're going to make this part of the constructor as well. We're going to have this here as well. And then if data gets more complex than this, we can deal with that later. Like maybe we have some pickup that represents like a specific part that can be added to the shop or something. Then we can extend that as need be. Like that's not crazy. We can have additional data that's pertinent to other things. That's not the end of the world. Okay. And then this has to return up pickup. Yep. And then this guys are just gonna return. What are you gonna return? Feller. Value equals value. That's not confusing, but this is what it represents. In fact, this is gonna be such boilerplate that I'm just gonna do this. Oh, we're gonna do something kind of, is it worth it? Nah, probably not. That's close enough. I know this is not necessary for the compiler, it knows the difference, but it might be weird for me. Alright, cool. So I think this is all the general gist we need to have here. And then I guess within, I don't know, the shop model or shop data, it can listen for these events as well and handle them as they need to be. Specifically within, let's see here on the constructor, when we create this guy and it does the initializations that it needs to do, we can have it listen and subscribe for these events explicitly. Because it's going to contain not only the parts registry and the item states, and it also contains these things like the current balance. Actually, it's going to be kind of distributed because this is going to be relevant just for the coin thing, but then the player is going to be the one listening for hull and brake changes. So this is actually good. Using this message breaker structure, I think this message broker structure is actually going to be working in our favor because we're going to have different parts of the application listening for different specific things that are pertinent to it. So this actually works very, very peachy. That being said, I don't see a message broker here. So what I think I'm going to do is maybe try passing it on construction, or actually better yet, ooh, I'm not sure when this is going to exist. Okay, we're going to have I think we're going to have an empty constructor, but then we're going to have like an initialize function here. So we can be sure of the application's existence. And then we can pass in like a reference to the application itself. And then we're going to move this data to be done here, not on constructor or construction, just for more security. And then we're going to do application.broker, message broker.receive, and then we're going to listen for pickup. pick get coin. There we go. And then we're going to subscribe for this. And then whatever this change is going to be, it's going to increment the value that we have for our balance. And this could be even an anonymous function. Actually, no, anonymous function, where you just do tx.value. We're going to do current balance plus equals x value. Now, why are we mad here? Did I make you public or private or something? Lambda expression is not assignable to parameter. What are you talking about? What are you talking about? Do I need to actually use UniRX? Yeah, I think I have to do that for it to be recognized. And then do our problems go away? I feel like they did a little bit, because now it's recognizing this is x.coin.pickup. We're not returning. So I'm not sure what's going on here. Private current balance. Why are we mad here? Why are you mad at me? Cannot convert source. Okay, it's a casting thing. Because current balance is an integer, and we're using a float value here. Okay, so that's not crazy. All right, we're done. And then also we want to make this be, I mean, it's not really relevant, but we can just add it to this so that this gets disposed of when application is closed. It really does not matter, because when the application is closing like this, you don't have to worry about this still being subscribed. So sweet. Okay, so we have our reception of value update changes to our currency here. Great. All right, let me catch up on chat real quick, guys. My bad. We're working on a Flex. We're working on a game right now. I'm implementing a pickup system, and I'm integrating it into our little shop data economy thing. Yeah, and code in languages other than English, probably not Trixel. Code in reality. What we're building this game in 3 weeks, and right now we're doing the pickup system and adding it to our economy. ¿Alguien sabe qué estás haciendo, el compa? I don't know what el compa means. El flaco está, no hablo español. Yo hablo español un poquito. Que puedo entender, pero para hablar es es muy difícil para mí. Pero estás haciendo un juego en 3 semanas. Y ahora estoy haciendo un sistema de economía. It helps you save water. We're making a game, Adrian, using Unity. Yep. Carpal tunnel speedrun? Nah. Ever since I switched to these keyboards, it's been very helpful in reducing my carpal tunnel. That and taking magnesium glycinate. That's like made my numbness go away completely. Using Rider. Can we get a preview? Yeah, here's the preview. Good Spanish, thank you. Vale. ¿Cierto? ¿Es sobre economía cierto? No. Solamente economía entre el juego. So you guys are saying I speak good Spanish, but the thing is like my dad is Guatemalan, my mom's Puerto Rican. It's my heritage, and I feel like I should really speak the language much better than I currently do. But I really don't get that much opportunities to speak. So I don't practice much, and then I start talking very broken. We're working on it. I gotta work on it. I need to go. Maybe I should just go to Puerto Rico and stay there for a few weeks and just live there while working on games. See if my job will let me do that. All right, but yeah, this is the general look of the game, and right now we have to make some pickups, and we're also going to have to update our little level generation system because we also have to actually call this. In fact, this is not required because there's already default constructors for classes. Now what I do need to do is initialize this when we have the application. Yeah, we set the current vehicle configuration. We state this initial. We have our shop data dot initialize, and then we just pass this. So that should initialize everything appropriately with default values. And we're not using anything in update, I imagine. So the day we need it, we'll add it. Okay, so we have one thing here. We'll handle these other guys later. Let's go to the game board. Manager. And start setting up how this object's gonna look. We have to think a little critically about, we also have to do this optimization of like making this not use a vector 4 to represent just kind of binary data or at most a single integer data. So we're gonna have to do something with this, about this. Yeah, we're gonna have to do change data format for texture. Not the end of the world, but I just kind of hate that we're gonna have this big old bunch of data that's just redundant and just bloats. It's just effectively bloat. I hate that. So we're gonna want to do that better at some point, but right now I just need to get the game functional and working right now. Okay, but so what do we have? Our level generators. Here we are, default generate chunk. We go through here, we generate stuff, which is cool. I would like to start with a very simple algorithm, not algorithm, but a simple thing where we actually generate a few random positions. One for the hazard, and then another one for the pickups. Generate, and this is going to take an integer I. If I were to remove all this data and just chuck it in here, because that's everything that's pertinent for creating a hazard. This is where it lives. We'd also need to reference the game board. Okay. We have this here. Cool, and then we're going to do another one called create pickup. Sorry for the minor feedback. I'm using a very not great headphones right now. Void create pickup, and it's going to have honestly the same signature as this guy here. Where do we go? Where did we just go to? Yeah, we went out. Yeah, here we go. And then we're going to yoink a lot of the same code here. We're not going to check for collisions yet. We're just going to run it. And whatever happens, happens. And then instead of doing this, we're going to do pickup dot create. It's going to ask for a type. It's going to be e pickup type. Let's say coins for right now. And then a value, let's say 1 for simplicity. And we need to have a way of specifying the difference between these guys. Also, I realized that we need to also add the trigger collider event to this. So we're going to go here. Nope. Add that to there so that we can do get value, and then we also have to make sure we do pickup dot value equals value. Cool, we're good there. And then we're gonna do some additional setups here. So like I'm probably gonna have some kind of different varying things where we kind of load different resources to assign here to make things a little bit different. I think for coin, maybe you can like, I don't know, add a mesh render or something. Yeah, we're gonna have to do that. There's actually a couple things we're gonna have to do. We're gonna have to do like, add a mesh render, and we have to add a mesh filter. Render. And you're going to have to assign these different things with the materials at some point. I think for now we can be very simple and just say instead of doing this we can do create a primitive, but I think right now I need to have something that looks very distinct visually. So we can do, I don't know. I guess for simplicity's sake we can do, keep this out for right now and get rid of this. We're going to do game object dot create primitive, and then we can make it a cube or a box just so it looks visually distinct for now, and then we can, yeah, primitive type. Let's look at them. Primitive type, quad, sphere, plane, cube. Okay, that's good enough for me. And then we'll worry about making this actually look better in a sec. Okay, cool. Let's try running the game. Actually, no, because right now we haven't called our function in our game board, which is going to be here. And we do, what do we do here? Pickups, yep. So now we have to call these functions here. So we have to call the create pickup and then create hazard. So it's going to be I here. 1 second. Okay. I here, we have to pass game board. And then we're going to create pickup. And that should be good for right now. And then we're going to see what happens here. And I think we'll do some cool visual shader stuff for there. I was thinking about, so yeah, we have these. And they're not working. They're not dying after I collect them. So that's not great. So let's see what's the issue here. There's probably some exception. Ooh, a bunch of different exceptions. Pickup 63. So it's saying that this is null. Well, that's interesting. I triggered collider, trigger collider events. When we call this creation function, what happens? We do add component sphere collider, which honestly already exists. Though we can do this right now. Let's get collider, get the abstract. And then we can do our is collider true, is trigger true, yep. And then we add this component. So on awake, it should work. But let's say that this doesn't get called when I want it to. So we can call in a nip function on it instead, so that all these dependencies are made first. And then before we call pickup, we can do pickup dot init. So it's going to be set up. And then that should hopefully address everything. I'm gonna run it and we're gonna catch up in chat. My bad, guys. Sorry, I'm getting very locked in today, but I just want to be productive, man. I just want to get things done. So we're just gonna wait for this compile. It's cool. Yeah, it's fun, man. Just time, Jesse. Just a lot of time. Yeah, i3 is fun. Yeah, Vim i3 is great. Yeah, thanks for asking those or for answering those questions. So what's going on here now? Nothing's visible. It's all gone. So something's going awry. So we have some new exceptions here at shop data and one here at pickup. So it's going on here at pickup. Ah. So there's one that already exists. Add component. Okay. So that should be one. There's also one happening here, which is states.add. So why is this the case? That this is, actually went into source. Well, this is very weird. Very odd that this is throwing. Seeing that this is just a list of item states. So that should not be null. So let's see what happens if I press play again. Maybe it's just a cascade from additional errors. Oh, thanks, Daryl. Yeah, I have some streams where I'm more talkative and stuff, but I don't know, it's dawning on me that the time is flying and I want to get more things done, dude. So yeah, we're trying to stay locked. What's up, Ubed? Emacs? Nah, I should try Emacs at some point, but see how you're thinking in small details of this big idea. Thank you, Adrian. Is this? Nope, still compiling. All right, sweet. So let's see if this works. Hey, so the objects exist, and if I were to hit this, no, it does not delete itself. Very tragic. So why is this the case? Well, there's still a null reference exception at application at 57, which is very odd. Because I'm not sure how this can be odd. Or it'd be a null reference here at 57. Unless, Yeah, I'm not sure what's going on here. We have this instance set to this. Don't destroy and load. Yep. State equals initial. Like, this should not have any bearings on this. And it'd be weird if there's additional cascading failures that are born from that. No errors coming from shop pickup, which is both good and bad, because that means that this destroy behavior is not doing things as I would expect it to, or the collider is not initiated the way I'd want it to. So we're going to investigate the shop thing in a second. This is being weird. So we have a cube and we have a sphere. So in fact, this is leading me to believe that potentially maybe I'm constructing two game objects without intending to. Yeah, we'll go back to the shop stuff in a bit. Let's go back here. So we have this game object create primitive. That's fine. Collider create. We're modifying this one game object. Cube. We're adding the component to it. We're getting a component because this primitive is going to have a mesh render and collider already attached to it. We're setting it to be a trigger, which is good. We have go.add component trigger collider events. That's good. Unless it's not meeting the requirements, in which case that's bad, but I doubt that's the case. We have this type, which we're not doing anything there, so that's fine. We init it, and then we return it. And then in here, we're doing stuff where and the dependency should be met by this point, so that should be fine. And then on pickup, which is called here, yeah. So this is what we're gonna do. We're gonna do a breakpoint. We're gonna do some debugging here. We're gonna do the debug mode. Hopefully everything's dandy. Yes. Enable debugging for this session. Yes, that's fine. And then, because I'm seeing a bunch of spheres and cubes exist, but the spheres are the hazards. So I'm assuming that's. So we're not creating another game object. So I'm assuming it's something with the collider. Like maybe it's not convex. Maybe you set it to like not convex, and that's causing issues, or maybe there's no rigid body attached to it, which is going to be causing weird collision issues for some reason. Gosh, I almost want to make my own collision. Like we're just doing spheres. I just, it's like super fast and easy to check collisions with. I don't want to have to add a whole rigid body onto each instance of it because I feel super dumb. Okay. So this cool. This is, yeah, it's telling me this is not set to reference. Shop data that initialize. And what is it not? Is it the inner object? That's not the case. It has to be the outer object. No, item is null. You have a null item. Oh, okay. That's in the scriptable object. Okay, that makes sense. We can continue forward here. That's just going to require okay, so this is not triggering that breakpoint at all. So that would indicate to me that we're not even, there's something wrong with the colliders, the way they set up. So let's just find a cube. Let's take a look at this guy. So you're set to trigger, that's great. I'm happy about that. You're untagged. Doesn't really, should affect anything, I don't believe. We have pickups. Yeah, you have this component on here, value coin. We have the trigger colliders, okay. There's no objects colliding with it, that's good. That's what we'd expect. Provides contacts, material, size is appropriate. There's no layer overrides, which is good. Scale is still uniform. Okay, so the only position and rotation should be affected, but not even rotation is affected here. Okay, so I find myself a little perplexed. I cannot lie. Because these are, yeah. Okay, I think we might have to actually add a rigid body to this, and that's going to solve this problem. Also, we're just going to add a check here because, I mean, I should actually, no, I'm not going to do that because that's going to allow bad things to sneak in. I don't want to allow bad things to sneak in. We don't want to have any null values within any of our scriptable item registries, so we're just going to not do that. And instead, we're going to go here. I'm going to assume that's just the issue, is that we don't have a rigid body attached to this guy. We can also just simplify this by maybe having the player be the one who's listening for it. That way there's only one rigid body. If I really want to go simplification and just move this to be there, but then you have a player that's kind of growing in more responsibilities. Maybe I can make it a separate component that's adjacent to the player, but at the end of the day, we're just massaging or moving around logic. That's all we're really doing. Add component rigid body, and then you're gonna be, what we're gonna do, I don't want you to make it kinematic because you're not gonna actually trigger the collider, which is bad. So what we're gonna do is set your lock, freeze rotations, true, RB freeze. Okay, what about translations? There's a parameter here for freezing, or constraints. There are constraints, or debugging constraints. Freeze all. That's exactly what I'm looking for. Okay. What's up, Melons? Good to see you, man. Yeah, it's a very different setup. Very different setup. I'm waiting for the camera stand to come in so I can have the new thing. Everything's simple except for C++. Yeah, that's how it is. Error margin 0. Nope. No error. Unhealthy, unnecessary. It's very necessary for long. Actually, that's even healthier in a weird way. I mean not the speed, but at least their ergonomics I have going on. Let's go here. Re-import, yeah. Like before I started using Vim motions and a split key, I was having really, really bad carpal tunnel. And ever since I switched to this, it's been, all the symptoms have gone away. Haven't felt numbness or anything. It's all been gravy. Come on. Okay, I know. We're going to continue forward. Come on. Why is this, what's going on here? Come on. I want to work. Let me work. Okay, thank you. Yeah, I don't know why this is not showing me the game anymore. I'm sorry, what? Okay, there's Unity. What's going on, Meyer? It's just about racing. It's about racing. Okay, what's going on here, Unity? Why are we bugging out like crazy? Also, let me check out the Discord. I think, hey, let's go. Welcome, welcome. What else is going on here? Hey brother, I'm generally curious, what is this this Go you've been using? I'm pretty familiar with Unity, C++ coding, but I've never seen somebody use that as just a reference to another file. What do you mean exactly? I'm not sure if I understand your question specifically. Also, is this just stuck? Is this just hung? Oh brother. Oh brother. Okay, I might as well just kill Unity. Unity must die. Hi, bro. What's going on, Farad? Come on, man. I just want to work. Let me work. I thought I fixed the problem. Unless, like, maybe... I don't know. Maybe instantiating anything is causing problems. Do I just need to close everything? Just kill all Unity. The go.something property. I love Unity. Isn't Unity the greatest? It's my favorite. It's my favorite. I don't know if I can just call this. Yeah, you know Unity found. Is there a process that I can look for? that I can just execute. I should really learn what these processes are called. Oh, yay. Yay. You're still struggling. What's going on here? What is happening, Unity? Methodology of learning code? I don't really have methodology. I just learn, dude. Things happen. You get exposed to new people. You learn things from them. It's all good. Okay, we're gonna try this again, and then if this bugs out again after a fresh launch, then I'm assuming maybe I'm instantiating too many objects or something. When you're referencing the collider, you had a go dot in front of it. One second, let me pull up this. Let me pull up a writer real quick. So you said the collider, right? So are we talking about like here? Oh, the game object dot add, like dereferencing, or? And we say go dot. Oh, you mean like this? Yeah, this is just a function within game objects. So you can just, if you have a game object instance, you can call some baseline things like add component, destroy, instantiate directly from it. I think instantiate's a static thing, but you can also call it from the game object directly. Pretty handy. It's good, Kieran. I enjoyed it a lot. It's a skill thing. It's a like there's a curve to it, but once you get over it, it's great. And I've been able to switch between this and normal keyboard layouts largely fine. I don't do LeetCode. I doubt it. I have 64 gigs of RAM. So there's no way this is eating up resources. I've launched even humongouser projects than this. So my hunch is that maybe, just maybe, you're instantiating too much. And maybe you got an object pool or something. Because I'm assuming rigid bodies have a bit more to them. Yep, and we're pressing play and it's just kind of stuck here. No, that's not hanging the UI, so let me try actually rebuilding. Yeah, I think I might have to the level generation thing might need to be re-implemented. I think I need to actually seriously consider some changes to it. Because all these objects that need, these hazards and state of the application doesn't need to exist concurrently. Like the only things that are visible within your viewport need to be actually constructed as game objects. So I think what I'm going to do is have like a model representation of the board, because I'm conceptually thinking about the cylinder as a board. And then when an object, and then we periodically check to see where the player is positioned in that board, and then if those objects exist, then we can oh my goodness. Yeah, so I think that's the issue. That is the issue. I think I underestimated how many objects exist in actuality. Good to know. Good to know. Okay, so we have to actually think critically about how we're gonna organize this, how it's gonna work, everything. Cool. We actually have to write good code. That's crazy. Well, it's good to know that my assumption that rigid bodies were too beefy at this scale was correct. So beautiful. All right, so I'm gonna wait for this to kill itself real quick, And then we're going to start whiteboarding exactly my thought process behind how we're going to do this. No, I don't. Yeah, Prashant, I don't like any dynamically typed languages. It's not my thing. It's bit me in the butt before. I know Python has some more tooling that's meant to, like stuff in PyCharm and whatnot, that are meant to be much more smarter about it, but I don't like it. I like having explicit structures. I think Python is meant to be like a script, a single line scripts. And that's the most I use it for. Like I use Python for like meta code generation in my C++ project. Where like I generate like static string, right? I generate like static classes with static strings that link to assets within our data folder, so that you can directly, instead of having to type in a string and hope that you're loading the correct asset, it instead compiles. You instead have like this static class with those values already on there, generated by this Python script, so that when you're in code, you can just use the IntelliSense to access your assets directly. So like for like single file utilities, it's fine for me, but doing anything that requires architecture, then I'm like, I don't know. Maybe I'm just skill issue, but I don't know. I feel like dynamic structures just allow a whole heap of crazy things to happen. A whole like class of bugs to emerge. Okay, so let's talk about this new level generation. Let's talk about the level generation, shall we? Can we talk about the level generation? We're going to talk about the level generation. No, you belong there. Get out of my way. All right, how's our board looking? Can we zoom out more? No, we can't. Let's try to like make this feel more squared out. There's a nice empty space here, so I think we'll draw here. Oh, what's up, Morgan? Good to see you here. I didn't see you get here. How do you start creating a video game? Should you focus first on the environment or classes, or any suggestions? I would say for this game, I can tell you that I started with a essential game loop, or just a simple game loop of like, all right, this is how the game's going to work. Essentially, you're just going between shop, garage, and level, and this is how they're going to flow. And levels are going to generate a currency for this, and this is going to generate things for this, and that's the general flow. This is what the cycle the user is going to be going through. And then once you have like a loop for your user flow, then you can start making some architectural decisions ahead of time. Like, hey, I know we're going to have a shop and a shop view and shop data. And hey, I know for the levels we need to have like this whole mechanic of like engines and brakes and chips for customization, and maybe even holes and whatnot. So this is starting from a very top-down approach. You can also do a bottom-up. The thing is, though, if you're trying to like, when we start with a top-down approach, it's easier to kind of estimate how long this may take. I mean, you're never going to properly estimate it, but you can have a ballpark figure, and there's a goal that you're working towards. But if you're starting from the bottom up, you're just kind of going through this process of discovery of just making the low-level gameplay, which in this case might be like the whole cylinder gameplay mechanic, and then seeing what can emerge from that, and then building structures from there. Two different ways of going about it. At least two ways I'm aware of, but yeah. Are exploding. Yeah. I kind of want to get another 128, but I also want to upgrade my CPU a bit. I'm in analysis paralysis state. I would say C#. That'd be my go-to. Like for your back end. I don't know, if I had to write back end, yeah, I'd probably do like either that. Heck, I might even do Rust, if I'm gonna be honest with you. I know there's Go that people like, but Yeah, I don't know. Anyways, so let's talk about the issue we're facing right now. It's a classic one. It's one I didn't expect to encounter, but now I'm realizing that we actually had spawned a humongous amount of objects. So, oh, 1 second. I need to fix my Wacom. Actually, this should just fix it, shouldn't it? No, it didn't. Oh my goodness. Okay. Select this. Nope. Select, copy. And then I thought my i3 would have covered it. There we go. Now we're good. Every single stream I have to do that. And I added it to my i3 config and it still doesn't do the thing. Alright, anyways. So. The current scenario is that we have like 2000x something objects. Even like hazards, right? We have like 2000 hazard objects, and then we're probably adding another like 1,000 or 2,000. Right now, the way it's implemented, we're adding another 1,000 like pickups, which, I mean, that's too much. We're gonna limit that, but no matter what, this is still kind of a problematic thing. I guess maybe I can get rid of. It still feels dumb. I still want to have like a high amount. I want this to be performant. So like. And run as many systems as possible. So we're going to do the optimization. So this is too many objects. There's too many objects that need to exist. And in reality, they don't need to exist, right? Because let's say this is the whole length of the game. And then excuse that little squiggle at the end. And the game objects exist all instantiated and exist here. At any given point, the player is only seeing like a small fraction of this. A small fraction of it. So in reality, we don't need to have all these 2,000 objects. Instead, we just need to have the ones that are visible instantiated, and then whenever they become out of sight, we can either get rid of them or recycle them for use in the future. So how do we go about doing this? Right now, the state of the board is tied to these instances, which is not great. Though we do have this texture that we're drawing to that's setting, hey, there's a hazard here, there's a hazard here, there's whatever, right? So what we're going to do is have like a model representation of this, a lightweight representation of the state of the board. And it could be as simple as like an integer that's like, hey, we have a, let's say 0 equals hazard, and then 1 equals a pickup. So we might have a board that looks something as simple as like, hey, here's a list of all the entities that currently exist in the world. So we have hazard, we have a hazard and it's position 0, 1, and then we have pickup and it's at, I don't know, 2, 0. This is a little too claustrophobic. Let's do it like this. So you have a hazard and it's living at coordinate 0, 1, 0. Or actually, it's just going to be a 2D coordinate because we're working on a board. And then we have a pickup at 1 or 10, 30, and so on and so on and so forth. Very small data footprint. And then the actual representation of it is going to be like a slide view that checks to see, okay, within this given viewport, what is in view here? And if there's something that needs to be viewed, we can just either instantiate it, which, it's not the greatest, or we can pull from an object pool. So we're like, oh, we're at this place. So 0, like if this is the coordinate here, and then we have 0 living at 0, 1, 0, and then we have the pickup living over here, and we're here. We just entered this area. Then we go, oh, okay, this needs to have a representation. It's coming up. So let's pull something from the object pool and then position it where it needs to be, and then bada bing, bada boom, it's good to go. So I think that's likely what we're going to do. There's 2 different ways we can do about it. We have this texture that exists, so we could just encode the data into it and just get it. The other thing we could do is just have this be like a list of entities of various type and just query that directly. I don't think it really matters. Or it might be easier just to have this data structure that exists purely in the CPU instead of having to go through here. Because I imagine there's some additional stuff that goes on here. Or it might be as simple as just indexing into it. I don't know. Either way, this is going to be subject to change potentially. Whereas this is a consistent representation that's going to take up very little memory and is just going to work the way we want to. So I think that's going to be what we do. I think that's how we're going to implement this optimization, and yeah, we're just going to do it better. But why Go and Rust? It's Express or Django is easier. Yeah, but I care. For me, you're asking the wrong person about like, and I'm not saying I'm right either, right? Because different source or factors and whatnot. I prefer writing things that are very lower level and are like very lean in terms of what they need to do. I get that like 80% of the application doesn't need it. You could do the Uncle Bob thing where it's like, hey, 80% of the application doesn't need to be optimized, and then the 10 or 20% performance critical things, or even the 5% performance critical things can be written in that low level stuff. I don't know. For me, I'm like, I'd rather just use the thing directly and just make the whole thing performant. Oh my gosh, not the part. Yeah, this is like every stream it happens. But yeah, there's a whole thing to be had about that. Anywho, so I think we have an idea for what we wish to do. I think it's just a matter of doing it now. And first of all, let's just kind of commit what we currently have, because this is going to be a significant change. And I think some of the pickup stuff we already added is pretty all right. Let's CD. I should really move this to the Cozy Cabin Games. Oh my goodness, I can't. Oh my goodness, you're killing me. You're killing me, dude. There we go. Yeah, I think we're just gonna do get status here. Adding pickup objects. Get push berg. Beautiful. In fact, I'm gonna get rid of the remote for GitHub. I don't want to accidentally keep pushing stuff there. Get remote, remove origin. Cool. No more origin. Only get Codeberg. Only Codeberg. Code or whatnot. Is there a better software? I have no idea. I don't know nothing about Docker, so I can't even give you some good. I can't give well-informed advice on that. I feel like I should learn it. I know it helps solve like reproducibility and consistent execution and stuff like that, and deployability, but the whole like Docker, Kubernetes things, like it's outside of my domain. I don't get to do that. The closest I might deal with that is like maybe for CI/CD stuff for internal things, but that's very different from what I imagine people are going to be targeting these things for. So let's go to our game board, and we're gonna make like a struct called, I don't know. We're gonna make a struct called entity entry, and we're gonna make a enum, I guess, as well. Enum entity type, and there's gonna be things like hazards, maybe a coin pickup. And you know what? Because we don't want to have objects overlapping each other, I think we're going to make this state be a dictionary of positions. So we can have like private read-only dictionary of like vector 2 and this entity entry. And that's going to make life kind of easy. Because like right now we have this simple issue where we had this problem where we're randomly generating coins, right? And we don't know, we're just doing it arbitrarily. So there might be a coin spawned inside of a hazard, and oh, great, now you can't get it, right? But if we use this hash table or this dictionary of vector2 positions mapping to the entity, then it's easy to check to see, hey, is this value space occupied? Okay, we have to spawn this somewhere else. The thing that can get weird is if we start having entities that are not... it'll get weird if we start having entities that are longer than a single cell. That could be weird. Or if we start adding dimensionality to our board, that could also be weird. But I think we can just work with this first. We can always add like something more to this, like a simple collision thing where we can add to entity entry like a simple bound size to account for that. But I think for now we're going to work with this simple constraint of just, hey, they're going to occupy a single cell. That's how we're going to deal with things. That's how we're going to live our life. Health pick up, and then we're gonna have a break pick up, maybe even a part pick up that unlocks it in the shop or something. And honestly, we don't even necessarily need this entity entry. We can just use the enum type directly. That could be a thing we do. That could very well be what we do. Unless we start, like, in case, like, if we start adding things like dimensionality to it, then, okay, cool. Maybe we want to add, like, the bounds to this or something. Yeah, I think that, or if we want to add additional data to this, but I think it's going to be very simple. I think the simplest thing works for now. And then if we need to revise it, we'll just revise it. Entity type, and now we have our board model, our model or data model or whatever for this entry. And then now we can do a lot of cool, fun, easy breezy, lemon squeezy things. So not only do you have this model, now we have to start keeping track of viewport and seeing if things are positioned in there. Ooh, actually, there's an additional consideration. Is like how we're going to keep polling for this. If you have it unordered like a dictionary, then we're going to have to iterate probably through everything, every single frame to check to see if there's an object that needs to be added and there's an object that needs to be removed, which is not great. Or maybe it's fine. Like it's iteration, but it's a simple kind of operation, and depending on the count, it may not be that big of a deal to iterate. Like 100 times, like that for, like even for phones, I imagine it wouldn't be that crazy. Let's see here though. Or we can have this be stored in a very different way where it's not a dictionary, but instead it can be like arrays. It could be arrays that are ordered, because the way we're creating them is going to be ordered by X anyways, and X is really the only factor component that really matters. So we can have it be simple where, well, the player can move backwards though, but we can have it still be ordered by X, so it's a simple, it's easier to kind of check. I'm not even sure, because the other thing is that you can have these individually just checking for themselves, but that's just kind of moving the problem around anyways. So maybe we just do the naive implementation, see how it works, and then go from there. And if we need something more robust, we can deal with that. Yeah, we'll just do like that for now. Okay. So we have to have some basic function. In fact, we have this update as well here, calling this generate function. What I wish to do I have something here. I want to think about how we're going to do this whole view, slide view thing. So, for each, I guess, in this case. Okay, so we have this. In fact, I don't even... First, let's get our position, which is going to be the player, or is it set? Yeah, player dot position. So the player, the position of the player. Next, we have to have our min x and max x. Max x. And we're gonna have to have some kind of height for this. So for now, we can do like a const float, left margin, another one for right margin. And it'd be like, I don't know. It's not that far away, so maybe like 5 is enough. Because we want to have this spot pop in off screen first so it feels more seamless. This would be more tricky because it's not, the view's a bit further away. Let's start with like 100 meters. Or let's do like 50 meters first. And then see if that works. And then everything's going to be relative to the position. So min x is going to be equal to position dot x plus minus left margin, and then the max x is going to be position dot x plus right margin. Okay, and then we can iterate through this, and then we can have a thing for recycling and then one thing for creating, and then for doing nothing. 1 second, guys. In a situation that I learned Python, started learning Django, and previously learned Java and C# basics up to like LINQ and C#. Okay, system LINQ. And that language's mindset comes to learn internals, but Python abstracts it so it's hard for me to understand its internals. Yeah, that's gonna happen. You're not gonna know what's going on underneath there as well. I'll come up with keyboard-centric movements. You can do it, JD. It's achievable. It's possible. You can do it. I have less time to get internship, and I fear of having shallow knowledge of each. I mean, I'm not sure what to say, man. I think time in a saddle is much more important. There is something to be said about getting deeper in knowledge with one or the other. I can say this though, like getting more knowledge in C# doesn't mean it's not going to translate to Python. Like data structures they're going to do there, or architectural decisions you do within your C# projects are going to translate to Python. You can still face architectural decisions and organization in Python. It's just that it's going to be a bit more separated. Whereas like C# you're kind of forced to make concrete decisions about these things. Like even the idea of like, hey, struct or class, am I going to be passing? Do I want to have this thing be passed by value usually, or do I want to pass by reference? It's something that you have to make a conscious decision about, which I think will be good. We can see it ran. Yeah, I can show you it running. Actually, no, because I mean, okay, we can probably make it run right now. I just need to comment out the pickup creation. I'm hoping that's all I need to do, and it should be fine. I mean, this probably wouldn't be as bad if I just did the player thing, but whatever. Let's see if this runs. Let's see if this bad boy runs and doesn't hang. because of some bad bad code. All right. Domain compiled. Is it gonna run? Coffee? No, I'm just drinking water. Good old H2O. That's mostly what I drink. I'm not big on caffeinated things. I take tea occasionally, but I haven't done it in a long time. But yeah, this is what the game looks like right now. And we're doing some optimizations because like we have too many game object instances, and I want this to run good on mobile. So we're gonna try to do things right, the correct way instead of the dumb way. Also, like the rigid body thing, I need the rigid body thing, because you're at the like I feel like I might be. I know the phone can handle it if I probably move the rigid, or maybe it's still gonna be an issue with all those other objects. Like maybe this is just exacerbating it. With the holiday season, I think tea pairs nicely with programming. Oh, definitely. See, I just don't want to. Like, there's like two fears I have in life. There's two fears I have. One is kidney stones. The second one is testicular torsion. two things that I'm fearful of. So we drink water. We just keep hydrated. As for the other one, I'm not sure how you even go about preventing it. So I just hope it never happens to me. That's the most we do is we put my faith in God that either it doesn't happen to me, or if it does, He will give me the strength to get through it. But I just pray it doesn't. So we drink up and we do some coding. Yeah, I'm thinking like we're gonna have to do the, but it's like the right way to do this thing. We're gonna have to do this whole. Oh my goodness, I can't escape prefabs. We're gonna have to do prefabs for this. We're just gonna have, or maybe we don't. We're gonna implement it like this. We're gonna implement where the things that are come in and out of this view get deleted and instantiated, and then we'll do the move to we'll see how bad that is, and then we'll do the move to using the view object, or not view object, using the object pool system I have. The only things that object pool requires like prefabs. That's a thing, but we'll deal with it. Man, it's so much, but yeah, it scares me, Ed. It scares me. It's terrifying. All right, so we have this model here created. Oh, whoopsie. Have this model created. We have this low level. No, that's. We have. Where do you exist? We have this guy, get position on grid. Nope, that's not what I'm looking for. What I'm really looking for is the level generator functions. Here we go, default generate chunk. Also, are people joining? What's going on here? What's going on in the Discord? Hey, we have new people joining. Welcome North and Sir Ice. That's a cold name. That's a very cold name. Glad to have you guys. Make yourself cozy here. And by the way, for people who join the Discord, especially people who are, new or looking for maybe some guidance, or just, want to have questions, we have this thing in the Discord called this gym leader system. We have this whole directory of people who are knowledgeable in different things, so you can look up for whatever disciplines you're looking for, whether it be tech or Linux or art, animations, audio, games, whatever. like even like it could be like, hey, I'm really good at Rubik's cubes, or I'm really good at Warframe. Whatever it is though, like there's people who are knowledgeable about it, and you can ask questions in this forum. Yeah, to get some help, get some knowledge, maybe get better, getting good. So it's a resource that exists. So I feel like mentioning it. I think it might be helpful for some of y'all who are. It seems like some of you guys are dealing with indecisions, or how to even get started into this, or what have you. So feel free to check it out. Feel free to post in the forums. And yeah, let's get good, man. Model game board. And then we're going to add, what are we going to add? We're going to change this create hazard function to be slightly different. Just slightly little different. We're going to have you instead be, you have the X and Y chord. So let's instead create this. We can do like a tuple. I hate doing tuples, but that's just the thing we're gonna have to do. Do you think it's worth doing switching the split key? I did it out of kind of low-key desperation, because like I was having carpal tunnel get worse and worse, and my doctor was like, hey, we might have to consider doing like surgery and stuff. And this helped me alleviate these symptoms. And also taking magnesium glycinate helped me. But aside from that, that's like what motivated for me initially. Now I can have this motion that's very fast and quick, and it's nice and helpful. But I think what helps it is not really the keyboard, but rather my operating system using i3 and Vim, because I can use like a normal keyboard and still be able to move very quickly on it. So this is a bit more ergonomic and doesn't strain my hand as much. Entity type. So that's like the main consideration for me on this. I can use for creating building objects to import in Unity, because currently I'm working on a 3D project. Blender. Yeah, you got it, Morgan. Blender is the thing. Yeah, I have dual monitors right now. The main thing is for just keeping going till you actually get comfortable. Once writing 100+ lines of editing, you don't. Oh, what's going on? For posture, I feel like I tend much to hunch more. Oh, sweet, yeah. Yeah, and also having like your hand like not here, but instead spread out, like your shoulders get rolled back and stuff. It's like a feedback effect. So this is the X and Y chord on the board. So what we're gonna do is return Y chord. Actually, we're gonna create. Actually, what we really need to return isn't a tuple, but just like because we know if we're creating a hazard, we know what enum type this is. So okay, that's dim. We can just return new, and then we can do Y chord, because that's not confusing. And Y chord is rotation is on. Yeah. Okay, now we're gonna enforce that this is gonna be appropriate, and it's gonna be in the configuration I imagine it to be. We just have to flip it for the texture. We're doing the fun rendering stuff in. Okay, so set board state. Where are you called? You're called here. We can instead have this function be called here, and we're gonna add this parameter here to be like, hey, ePlayer. Nope. Hazard. No, first of all, this is actually the key because this is positional, and this is gonna be the it's going to be the entity type, which is going to be hazards. And that's what gets added to our dictionary. Very cool. And then we can do the thing for creating a pickup as well, which is going to be likely the same thing. And then this function we have here, we're going to be using that for creating the actual objects. This is the terrible naming, but this is just kind of how it's going to be. I gotta say that I love C. The only thing I wish I had was like maybe, well, no, not maybe, is operator overloading. But you know what? I'm not gonna complain. C's never hurt me yet. And then what are you? You're going to require some vector 2 position. Coordinate. And it's going to be the y, the core.y, and then core.x. Cool, and that's going to be great. And then going back to, oh, you know what? You know, we're going to have to change this. We actually have to introduce this entity type. Or entity entry. And have this. No. Oh, I thought I copied it. Whatever. Entity type. Because we also have to have a reference to the concrete game object as well. Whether it be for returning it back to an object pool or deleting it. But or we have a separate dictionary and we look up, we have it be a lookup between, what do we do? It could be a lookup between because you can't use entity type because that's going to be hash collision, key collision. We use vector 2 as well, the x coordinate, to be able to look up the object, and that should be actually fine. Yeah, and then that might be easier because then this becomes the model, and then this is like the representation or the view or whatever of this model, and then we can query for that very easily. So no, we escape the need for this additional struct yet another day. And then within update, we have this margin, we have our upper and lower bounds. We check to see if var key, or actually really position, I'm using the thing, that key, and then type. It doesn't really matter in this context, or it will matter if we need to create it. Key value, okay. So if, oh my goodness, if position.x is less than min.x, then we have to destroy it. And this will be view.tryGet value with position out var game object. We're gonna make this an if statement as well. And then right now we're gonna do destroy. We can change this to be something else. Actually, we can keep this more flat by being like, hey, if it's not found, we just continue on our way. Actually, no, because you also have to check the other bound as well. Never mind. Never mind. Likewise, we're gonna have to do, I don't like this. I feel like there's some way to like invert this to have it more flat, but it is what it is. In fact, what am I doing? We can do, wait, can we do this? No, wait, can we? I think I smell a way to do something. Yes. Yes. I believe I found a thing. And then, so position.x is less than min x, and then this, then we have do game, and then this is mad because there's a collision in name values, but it's okay because we can just enumerate or whatever. Or maybe we can even just establish this here as like a game object. Go. And then these are not initializing a new or defining one, but they're instead just recycling the one that currently exists. Get rid of the var here, and then we can go yeah. And then we move this back here. Life is good. Everyone is happy. Now we have our lower bound and upper bound conditions. We destroy and we continue on our way. We also have to remove this as well. So we have to do like view.remove position. And then if we removed it, we can just, continue. We can remove it, continue. Otherwise, it's within view. So we check to see if it's not in here. In fact, I feel like we can just cache this query because we're going to be we're caching it. We're making this query every single time, right? So we can just do, we can do this actually. And then store the value here. Exists can be the Boolean. And now this simplifies even further. Yeah, it's a much simpler expression now. In fact, if we want to, we can even like combine these two to be one mega expression, which probably may not be the most readable thing, but hey, I can do it. I have the power to do bad decisions, man. And no one can stop me. But yeah. We're going to move this to balloons, but whatever. And I can get rid of this. Look at that. We simplified this, kind of. Made it more terse, maybe. But hey, whatever. Yeah, it's fine. So this is if it's outside and it exists and we need to destroy it. Now what happens if it doesn't exist? Or if it exists, we continue. But if it doesn't exist and it's past all these conditions, we need to create it. So we can do create level generators. We're gonna have to I need to simplify this. I thought I was being cheeky and cool, but no, I was actually dumb. I was actually so dumb. So dumb. Yeah, we want to create. We wish to create. The council wishes to create this. Okay. And I'm sorry. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, there's an update right here. Okay, level generators, create hazard. We're gonna clean this up so good. You don't even know, buddy. You don't even know how good we're gonna clean it up. We're gonna create this hazard. We're also gonna pass it a reference to this game board, and then we're gonna add this to the view. We're gonna do view dot add new object, and we're gonna add this position as the key, and bada bing bada boom, we have our object cycling or cleanup or whatever. Actually, this should be like, we should do a switch statement of type, and then we're gonna call the correct function for creating said thing. So it'll be more like that. But we're gonna do that. We're gonna do that later. To do create switch. All right, 1 second, guys. I realize that. Oh, brother. I need to move a little bit. I feel pain in the chest. I'm not sure if it's like I'm usually like, it's just probably gas because I'm talking a lot. But in my brain, there's always like that 1% of maybe, just maybe, this is how it happens. This is how I go. I'm joshing though. I need some food. Yeah, it's a JetBrains. It's a writer. I'm just good about to get cold shower. Oh my goodness, Amy Rose, why are you getting a cold shower? With ifs just filter. Nah. It's good to see some regulars here though. I'm gonna stay here. Okay, Ken X HXC. Cause I'm so slow. Yeah, so you get there, man. It takes time, man. It takes time. What's your theme? It's Grubbox. I use Grubbox. Yeah, we have such similar mindsets about chest pains and testicular torsion. I'm glad. JD, finally someone who understands. Who understands. Someone who understands. The scary realities that exist in this land. Brother. Looks fun. Can't wait to see it. Yeah, the game's coming together. We're going to say... Actually, I think we were in a position to test it out, I think. I think we can test it out. Let's see what happens here. Default generate chunks. We add stuff to the game board. Yeah. And we paint the texture all at one shot. Okay, let's just try it and see what happens. Let's just see what happens. This either works the first time or is just a garbage heap. Is there... I can't even compile it because there's an error here. What's the error? Oh, I didn't return A. That's a simple issue to fix. Okay. Reload domain. Just using them regular. That's the only thing I could tell you, man. I didn't do any tricks. I just use them regularly. And then if there's a specific thing I want to do, I'm like, all right, how do you do it? Google it, and then I'd do it, and then I'd forget it, and then have to Google it again the next time it happens. And then eventually, by like the 60th time, you just kind of remember that, oh yeah, that's how you do the thing. And it just, it gets locked in. Okay, do you see that? Do you see that? So there's like some kind of, oh my goodness. Oh my goodness, this is worse performance. This is worse. This is the opposite of what we wanted. Okay. Let's do something real quick. So let's make our... Let's also limit our iteration. Because it doesn't have to go to the full... You only have to iterate, honestly. You know, honestly, oh man, I wish I had these index based off of X position. Because then, like, instead of querying the whole dictionary, we could just query the things that are within the space, and then we can just iterate through the view. Oh, okay. Yeah. I think we're gonna have to do that. I think we have to change this. I think we need to fuse these into like some kind of... Yeah. I think what we're gonna do... No. Maybe I could avoid this just by using the ding dang old movement, moving the collision check into the player. Or maybe not iterate on this so regularly. Like maybe do it after a certain delta has been passed. Because you only have to check this really when the player moves a certain amount of time. But this is still garbage. It's actually still very garbage. I don't know what that flickering at the end is though. Actually, we can simplify this expression even more. In fact, we make it bool like outside bounds. And this just goes, okay, outside bounds. For simplicity. Okay, we got this working. Let me see, let's profile it. I want to see what exactly the slowdown is coming from. If it's just the iteration, is it like the object creation that's somehow happening like every other frame or something? Which is pretty gnarly. I'm not sure why that's the case. I'll be real. Sometimes it wants both. Goes to game watch to have rigid body. Yeah, that's why I hate it. That's why I'm trying to avoid it. Like when adding rigid body, it just becomes unwieldy, which is dumb. So I either could just have it move it to the player and have the player be the only thing with rigid body, and then have all the logic attached to the player, and then still have all these crazy number of instances, but it's fine, I guess. Or we make this work. Hurry up, bro. Stop pressuring me. I'm trying my hardest, man. Then it collision. Yeah, I'm doing on trigger enter. That's what I'm using. Need to scale it down. That happens to everyone, man. That happens to me. That's happened to me so many times. I got these cheapo headphones from Amazon. They're not even that great, to be honest, but usually I use these 280 Pros. These are the nice ones, but that's when I'm not on camera. That's for when we do the streams where we're seeing the CRT and not me, or I'm not a person, I'm an idea, I'm a disembodied voice. Speaking of which, it's almost 11:30 right now. Oh, I want to make this work so bad. I want to figure out what exactly is so slow about this. And it's outside bounds. We continue. We're defining this based off the player X value. Actually, no, min X is calculated here. Yeah, it's using position.x minus the left margin, which is going to be, and then plus the right margin, which is good. You know, what if we iterate? Because what we can do is have this dictionary be a, we have to do the game entity thing again, but have this be like a float value, and then have the position actually be stored here in like a game entity. Because if we know that, then we can deterministically like query just for the things within the view, which is going to be significantly smaller than iterating through the entire collection, which is good. And then we can just, I mean, we have to do a double iteration do the view objects to find the objects that are outside of that scope. Which is not ideal, but it's still significant, much. Yeah, like the double iteration of this can be significantly slower than a full iteration of this whole collection. So I think it's going to shake out to be better that way. And then what do we do? What do we do? Entity type is going to be about there. Type. Position, type. And then this is going to be using the X value instead. And then we can determinately just like check for things within there. Yeah, I think that's going to be the way we go about it. Okay, entity type, and then vector 2, no, and these will be just straightforward. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness, dude, stop autocorrecting. No, stop it. I know what I want. Except I don't. Okay, there we go. And then, as we're doing this, it's going to break a lot of different things, but it's fine. It's fine, because now it's going to be X. Like directly. And then we can do, what can we do? Harry Potter. This will be changed to entity. And we also change this, because now that we have this upper bound and lower bound defined, we can just iterate through the activation step, which is going to be int, I don't know, x is less than or equals 0. X is less than, or actually no, it's going to be equal to min x. And then x is less than max x. And then x plus plus. We got this defined in the inner scope, which is going to be tricky, but it's okay. And then we're going to do this check here. Yeah, this is going to be a float, actually. So now we're going to be iterating within this window instead of the entire collection, just within the window itself. And then we're going to be doing the same kind of query. Which is going to be like some of this, but not all of this. Like now x is like this value. Entity is going to be, we're going to do this first. Well, that's for the view. That's the game object, yeah. And we're going to change a couple things. We're going to change this to be view exists. I'm not sure how that lookup's going to be. But hopefully it's not the biggest factor in this. View exists, and then model exists. Okay. Already mad here. Yeah, get rid of that. So So if it's within the range and model exists, we can just kind of continue on our way. And then if we, actually no, that's not enough. If model doesn't exist, we need to do the creation step there. So what we do here is what we need to do. So this dot x, and then we're going to be adding this to we also have to do this with a game object too. Oh my goodness. Okay. There's gonna be a few more things I have to do here. What are you programming? I'm trying to do an optimization. And an optimization on an optimization, I guess. Where we have too many objects existing at once, and in reality, we only need to have the objects that are in view exist. So you have to have this mechanism of like having this model representation of these entities, and then determining, okay, is it in view? If it's in view, we have to create it. If it's not in view, we have to delete it. We're gonna use the object pooling thing eventually as well, but I just want to get this hooked in first, and then we're gonna make it better. That's what we're doing though. Of chat leaderboard, just wait. Man, I'm bringing back Streamboard or Streamworld. I need to hook into YouTube and figure out their APIs. Because I think it'll be super sick to actually have like this chatter stuff be this ranking actually have relevance onto like the UI and stream overlay and stuff. Yeah, we're using Unity. So Harry Potter. Wait, Kieran, you both are number ones right now. That's wild. Yeah, we did that before. So like, let me go to Instagram real quick, because I had a little demo of it on the on like the Twitch channel back when I used to stream there, and there's a demo of it somewhere. That's other game. Did I delete it? I didn't delete it. I don't delete stuff usually. I know it's, oh, here we go. So here's like the little demo of it. So StreamWorld, it changes time depending on the day. So as daytime, it's gonna be all white and all that stuff. And then it used to receive chat here. So when people chatted, it would pop up here. But that's not the only thing. That's just the beginning. Because we transitioned to here, and I had my own like I implemented my own screen capturing into this application. So instead of using OBS, I would actually directly capture the state of the screen and put it into a material in the world, so I can add cool CRT shader effects to it and have it be actually move with the world. And people can like do a command to join this world, and they can move around while I'm streaming and doing stuff, and even play like GIFs and whatnot. And I was even working on like eventually making my own backend, so we can have like a currency where you guys can actually use this point system from stream to like buy new cosmetics or whatnot, and control your character or do whatever, change your appearance and whatnot. It was a whole thing, dude. Like we were doing a lot of work there. But that was back when I was on Windows. So all that stuff is broken now on Linux, and I'm gonna have to figure out, revive it little by little. But yeah, it was a pretty polished thing, man. It was a pretty polished thing. And today I managed to just bring it back and have it be, let's see if I can find it real quick. I just have it load up just the intro area. That's it. Like it doesn't, there's no chat reaction or anything like that. Nothing fancy. But it's like the start. It's like, hey, it lives on Linux right now. And because of that, we can do stuff. So yeah, now it's like very dark. So now you have this sky view instead of the orange of dusk. But yeah, we're gonna. I have too many projects. We need to finish things. So I'm gonna come back to this eventually at some point because I want stream to feel more like a real place that you guys are in. And yeah, we're. I have a vision. I have a vision for what I want to have here. But it's gonna take some work. It's gonna take some I don't know, what was it? Elbow grease, that's what they call it? We'll get there eventually. We'll get there eventually. In the daylight state. Oh my goodness, like in the video, but they are daylight. Sick. What is good, my friend? Are you from the future? December 12th? Yeah, something's broken with my i3, or maybe my Linux machine. Actually, yeah, no, here it's saying December 1st. This is saying December 12th. There's something wrong with my i3 header. Yeah, I know, Morgan. I know. I just wanted to get this running again, so I can just have a like, hey, be right back thing. But yeah, no, I need to finish. I'm trying to finish this game. We're getting the game finished, and it starts by getting this optimization, this ding dang optimization to work, which is. Here we iterate by X. We check the model exists. If the model does not exist, it means we need to create stuff. So we create this. This requires a positional data that the entity would contain. So it'd actually be entity.position, and that is good. And then this would be entity.position. No. Dot X. Right? No, just dot position. Yeah, because we're checking via that. Okay, cool. So this works. So we iterate through this range. If the model exists, if the model, so if the model doesn't exist, that means that this is outside of the range. There's nothing with this X position. Oh, 1 second. 1 second. I'm dumb. I'm so dumb. Because this is going to have key collisions. Because there's going to be multiple entities that may have the same X position. So, like, oh, brother. So now that we know that there's this thing that exists called key collisions, we have to actually make this like a dictionary of lists or something. I think that's what we're going to do. Or maybe an array since there's a fixed size for the rows, but whatever. For now, we're just going to do this. I almost feel inclined to make this like a, I don't know. I almost feel like making a 2D array data structure for this. And just be like, screw it, we're going to allocate everything in bulk. Or just like one massive array or something. Just so at least it's like contiguous and we're not, because if this is something we're doing every single frame, it actually makes sense to make this as cache coherent as possible, right? So like having things exist in memory like this where it's kind of separated and thrown around in places, you know, it's in a dictionary and then it's going to have a reference to like a list that exists somewhere, which is going to have like, I think lists are going to store entities contiguously, I'm assuming, but okay, we're gonna have to. I'm gonna think about that later. Let's just at least have this work better at like the simplest of operations, and then we'll worry about cache coherency and making this be more better in a bit. I just want to validate that this does indeed make things faster. Yeah, and this is a list now. This is a list. Which means that for every single X, there's going to be a list of objects, which is going to be like a separate set of iteration, potentially. Oh, I feel like there's got to be something. There's got to be something simpler to do this. I got to think about this differently. A video with peripheral infos, no list, but I don't know. There's commands that exist for some of that stuff. Yeah, Nightbot's failing, man. I don't know what's happening. Nightbot has just been dying lately. Okay, so this is not... Let me think through this. How can we make this better and easier, yet still more performant, without having to but having to rely upon Burst, which I think Burst actually does work on Android now that I think about it. But it's not going to work on WebGL, but that's fine. Private. What is it we're going to be making? What is it that we're making here? If we do like an array, if we do like, because we could decompose this into like two different things, but or I could just have added this component onto the player and just have that one rigid body. But now I feel committed to actually having this windowed thing. I feel committed to this. I feel very committed to this. So what is this going to look like? And it's either going to have a list or not a list. Yeah, it's going to be a whole thing in here. Dictionary list. And then it's going to be... this model representation is becoming more of a tricky thing. You could write Ubuntu. I'm trying to grasp his knowledge. It's beyond. What do you mean? A video game for Android phones? Yeah, for Android. Like eating rice? No, not eating rice. To undo all my hard work installing Arch to go back. Yeah, I feel that. I kind of want to get rid of this and go into Apache OS. Aside from like the weird driver stuff, Apache OS has been great for me on my laptop. This might be a thing I just have to think through. Like I have to take a beat and be like, all right, how do you want it? I should have profiled this too, just to get a better understanding firsthand of yeah, I should have done a better some profiling to understand where the bottleneck. Like I kind of intuitively understand where it is, but yeah. I'm trying to think. Ideas are on my head. Because the real problem is like just trying to have yeah, I could just do a list. I can just do the list and just make that happen, and then it's an extra thing to consider, but we can just do that. No ahora. Es un poco difícil ahora, pero estoy pensando ahora. Ya, no sé. Language, but it's like commonly seeing no shading or transitioning to a new level of shading. What are you talking about, Melon? Yeah, definitely. Thank you, Doctor. This is what we live for. We live for the fight, the struggles. But ladies and gentlemen, I'm afraid I have to call the stream here. It's 11:55. It's almost 12. I need to go to work tomorrow in the morning. So this is kind of an unsatisfying ending. But I'm going to think through this problem a little bit more in my dreams. And then tomorrow. And then we're going to see what we come up with. I think it's going to be as simple as just doing. I think what we're just going to have to do is make a list. Like, just have this be a list. And then add to it, and iterating with it is not gonna be crazy. Or maybe like breaking this up into like spans. So a span of floats, and then a span of like these entities that are mapped to it, and then have this be sorted. Because if it's sorted, then we can like make assumptions about where things are at. And there's other variables you can play around with as well as like chunk size and stuff. We can make chunk size smaller as well, but I don't know, I'm gonna have to think about it. A link to your YouTube. I tried to pull up the stream on my computer and I got a little lost. Yeah, I'm sorry. I need to update my website too. That's a whole another project. I'll have to add the YouTube to there. But thanks, Howdy. I'll make sure to add it to there. Yeah, well, I'm currently using chunks. It's a big chunk though. But I mean, it's essentially what we're coming across anyways. It's a series of rule-based statements that make something do something. Yep, that's what we're trying to do. Yeah, Melon's got the answer right there. I just need to figure out the right rules, the right statements. If only the electrons were in the right order on my memory, things would be so much easier. All right, but anyways, ladies and gentlemen, it's 11:57. I need to get to sleep earlier, or at least early relative to me. Hopefully the camera stand comes in so we can go back to normal, unless, I don't know if you guys want to see this crazy guy with the disheveled hair on your screen. I think the CRT view is a cooler, more, I don't know, immersive experience, but 'tis what it is. Anyways, ladies and gentlemen, thanks for hanging out. I appreciate the company as I wrestle with this, and as always, thank you for watching. Until next time, stay cozy. Bye-bye.